Hey man, something is popping off in these streets and I'm not sure what it is, but I'm going to try and think through it in front of you. All right, so remember Melania came out a couple of days ago. Melania said, just as calm as she can be, she wanted to know who tried to whack her husband, right? She came out, she said it. People mock Melania or whatever, bada bing, bada boom. She kind of look like she might be some kind of cat woman. If we go into the paranormal conspiracy world, she may be something other than human. Cause she looked like, she a model. She got a unique look to her, but she looked like something not right with her. But I ain't necessarily saying it's a bad thing, but never mind all that. She comes out and she says, hey, y'all tripping. I need to know what's happening with who tried to bust my husband's head off to the white meat. And then Don Lemon comes out, mocks her. Then that was yesterday she did that, because I was talking about Don Lemon, big, nobody like him behind, digging his hands in his pants and rubbing it on a man's face behind, old fake walking down the street commentator behind. And then Senator Blumenthal comes out and starts talking about this. Now, I saw this on AJ's site. I didn't watch AJ. I just saw it because I don't want AJ thinking for me. I think for myself. You understand? I don't need nobody to tell me. I won't see what this man's saying for myself. So let's see what he got to say. And if you ever watch AJ, he don't never let nobody get through talking.
I think the American people are going to be shocked, astonished, and appalled by what we will report to them about the failures by the Secret Service in this assassination attempt on the former president. But I think they also ought to be appalled and astonished by the failure of the Department of Homeland Security to be more forthcoming, to be as candid and frank as it should be to them in terms of providing information. And we are going to absolutely insist on the truth and the whole truth in documents and testimony as members of the United States Senate, but also as citizens.
What did you learn new today when you said they're going to be appalled? What specifically?
I'm not going to go into what we have learned in specifics. I'm giving you my reaction. And we will have a report very, very soon that I think will absolutely shock the American people, or should, about the lapses and lags in the protection that was afforded that day and the breakdown in communication, failure and responsibility.
All right, so that explains part of it. So Trump came out today on Truth Social, and everybody's saying he's put out a checkmate mark, which they said hashtag means checkmate. I never known hashtag to mean checkmate. When somebody put hashtag, I don't know. I never known it to be that way. In a game of chess, a hashtag is it's not used for a checkmate symbol at all. In the game, so I don't know where it came from. I don't even know why people came to that conclusion. Maybe I could check that, but I played plenty of games of chess and notated plenty of games of chess. And when you checkmate somebody, you don't put a hashtag. But nonetheless, let's just go with the theory where people say that because he put out a hashtag on his Truth Social, that means that there's something big coming down the pipeline. I don't like that. I'm taking that whole concept and idea and I'm throwing that out of the window. I don't know what kind of secret squirrel monkey bull crap that is, but that don't make no damn sense. I'm going to read what's right in front of me. Melania, that man's wife. I'm going to go with the man's wife. The man's wife comes out and she applies pressure. She says, we need to know what happened. And I believe that was her applying pressure at a strategic moment when something was going on. She applied pressure in that moment, which led to this. Now, we only a minute into this and we're going to keep watching, guys. But I can only speculate that the maneuver that was made to try and assassinate Donald Trump had to be so sloppy, or the maneuver that was made to try to assassinate Donald Trump, somebody else has all the documentation and they know it's coming out one way or the other, to the point to where Blumenthal is coming out and saying, hey, the American people would be shocked. Now, that's one thought process. The second thought process is, and I don't know much about Blumenthal, so You may know more about him. He may be a rhino. He may be a cell. I don't know. So I'm going to stop right there because I haven't dug into his past and his history like I should. And so I'm going to back off of that and leave my conclusion with that at that point. The second thing could be if he was a good guy. Let's just say this. If he was a good guy, this could be a pressure campaign again against some bad guys inside of the government or inside of the deep state. But if I'm not mistaken, this man's been in government for a very long time. So 9 times out of 10, he's probably a part of the deep state, because you don't just hang around there for a long time unless you're a part of it. And if he is a part of the deep state and he's coming out saying this, then that means somebody else has put pressure on them to the point to where they got to put this out now. They got to get ahead of it. They got to try and meet us out on the battlefield with it. Now, the issue is, when will it come out? Today's Saturday. Tomorrow, Sunday. I think if there actually is a document that's coming, it's going to come to dominate the news cycle of next week. Maybe Tuesday. Yeah, maybe Tuesday. Maybe Tuesday. Again, these kind of things right here, this excessive control of the media cycle and this excessive control of the news narrative really makes me believe that there are some white hats that are in place. Now, I ain't talking about the QAnon white hats. I really think that there's some white hats that are in place. Maybe going back to John F. Kennedy before he was assassinated. But this successive, I mean, just victory after victory after victory after victory in the news cycle, I mean, you gotta look at it only that way. I mean, I don't know of any other way to look at it. Let's see what else he has to say. I'm speculating without hearing everything, so forgive me.
Report coming today or tomorrow?
I'm sorry.
Is that report coming out tonight or tomorrow?
No.
Do you think, I mean, is there a level of urgency to get this information out as soon as possible because of the void that's being filled with conspiracy theories about what happened on that day?
That is a really critical question. The failure of the Department of Homeland Security to be more forthcoming fuels the conspiracy theories that have no basis in fact. If government officials fail to be factual and forthcoming, the petri dish for the virus of untruth and conspiracy theories is made all the richer. We have an urgency, we have an imperative to get the facts and make them public. All of them.
Oh, hell. Oh, hell. I just noticed this man got a damn Ukraine pin and an American pin on his damn lapel. So, yeah, he definitely deep state. I mean, all right.
As soon as possible. I cannot say more passionately.
That changes my approach to how I'm thinking about this.
How urgent I feel this mission is, because the American people need and deserve to know the truth, even if it's embarrassing.
They need to know and hear the truth, even if it's embarrassing. All right, guys, let's just take the question that the gentleman just, I'm thinking through this with you. Let's just take the question that the reporter asked about the conspiracy theories and him jumping on it and saying that because they haven't put out any information, the petri dish for conspiracy theories is full. Now, let's go backwards and let's just see if his talking, what he's saying, Senator Blumenthal, makes any damn sense. Let's go backwards in time. Has anybody been talking about the assassination at all since the week after the assassination? We've been on this successive spiral of news events, day after day, week after week. Remember, the assassination attempt was knocked out of the news completely the following week, right? I don't even remember what knocked it out. I remember being surprised that whatever it was knocked it out, but I mean, it was knocked out within maybe 5 days of the assassination attempt. So the concept and idea that there's conspiracy theories that are centering around the assassination attempt that have taken hold, that are so powerful, is a lie. We talking about damn cats right now. All right, so take that and throw it out of the window. Let's go on to the next thing. I don't know what the hell he talking about with that.
Because the way to avoid these kinds of catastrophes in the future is to have the truth made known to Americans.
To that end, do you feel the Secret Service has made the necessary adjustments immediately, given the fact that we are at the height of a presidential campaign with so many different protectees under their charge?
I am satisfied that the Secret Service had made improvements that provide.
Guys, was there an attempt on somebody else's life? Like maybe from the Democratic Party side? Because that's the only way any of this makes sense. Hold on. That's homeboy busting that dude behind. Democrats gonna fireworks sideshow streets. Okay. So, no.
Much stronger safeguards, and that it is knowledgeable about the lapses that occurred, the failures that contributed to this assassination attempt being as close to successful as it was. I think the procedures, the protocols, and the practices have been improved. We'll see whether we're completely satisfied with them, because we're only beginning to learn about how the Secret Service is doing things differently.
Should we expect a report next week?
I'm not going to predict when it's going to.
Okay, but not today or tomorrow.
It won't be today or tomorrow, so far as I know. Chairman Peters is, and others we're four of us. Chairman Peters is the head of the committee. I'm the head of the subcommittee that is helping lead the investigation. And then, of course, we have two ranking members. But I just want to stress to you, this investigation is completely bipartisan. We are totally on the same page. We are working together in a very bipartisan way. It's one of the most bipartisan investigations that I've headed.
Is the report going to issue more findings about the motivations of the shooter?
I'm not going to go into details.
There have been a number of officers that were put on leave after their involvement in the security apparatus for this that ended up leading to the assassination attempt. Do you feel like there's been enough accountability in that regard, or should other people be put on leave or asked to resign as a result?
Unquestionably and indisputably, there needs to be more accountability. People need to be held responsible. And part of where we are driving is to make sure that there is accountability. Without accountability, this kind of failure and lapse will happen again, because there needs to be that sense that someone is the point person, someone is going to be held responsible.
All right, I need to know where Senator Blumenthal, what committee he's on. All right, Democratic Connecticut predicted Americans will be shocked and appalled when lawmakers release their blah, 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 blah. Acting U.S. Secret Service, Ronald Rowe, provided senators with an update Thursday on an investigation that failed. Can we hear what this man has to say? Wait. Are you trying to tell me that these dudes...
Josh Hawley's been in contact with whistleblowers and has new information he's going to exclusively share with us here at Primetime. So what now are we hearing from whistleblowers, Senator?
Well, what I've heard tonight, Jesse, is that most of the agents who were there at that rally in Butler were not Secret Service agents. They were, in fact, Homeland Security agents. And get this, most of those Homeland Security agents, the only training that they received was an online webinar, a 2-hour online webinar. And I'm told that about half the time, the sound to the webinar didn't even work. So think about this. The President of the United States, former President of the United States, Donald Trump, is sent out on stage. Most of the people there aren't trained. They're not qualified. They only got a webinar training, and even that didn't work.
Bruh. So that explains it. That explains why it came out. The whistleblowers put pressure on him, and now they know they have, without a doubt, they have to release the report. And so when he's sitting here saying that someone must be held accountable, now we're talking about Mayorkas needs to be held accountable, the head of Homeland Security. I get it now. You guys get it? Now we see what he's talking about. So now they're getting ready to throw each other under the bus. Yes, sir. That's what's about to happen.
It is absolutely outrageous.
You're saying, and if we're to believe that there's this big Iranian threat, that this is coming down the pike and they had to beef up security, their idea of beefing up security was not putting more Secret Service agents and counter snipers, was just throwing in a bunch of guys that have never done this before from Homeland Security and sending them into some Zoom training that didn't work?
That's exactly right. I'm told that actually Homeland Security agents were pulled off of child exploitation cases, child endangerment cases, the stuff they normally do.
Oh, so y'all abandoned helping children and try and whack the president. This is crazy.
They don't normally do protective detail work at all. They were pulled off those cases.
Bruh, let me tell you something. If I'm in Homeland Security and I'm used to working on assignments where I'm helping children, and all of a sudden you tell me, hey, James, I'm like, what, boss? Man, you gonna go to Pennsylvania and we gonna have you protect Donald Trump. And I said, well, boss, that's a Secret Service job, boss. Well, no, we need you to go do it. Boss, I'm feeling sick. Boy, I'm calling in sick to work that day. Yes, sir, you better call in sick to work that day, because you know you being set up. You was a damn fool if you even went to work that day. You should have called in sick. You crazy. If you ain't figured out that you was being set up, they got a whole entire Secret Service trained to do this, and they gonna get you from working on child trafficking cases. Ain't no children around there being trafficked.
Just said, here, you're going to go guard the former president of the United States. Watch this
God.
webinar. Oops, it doesn't really work. Oh, that's all right. Go out into the field anyway. Jesse, this is a nightmare, and we still have no answers. The only reason we know this stuff is because of whistleblowers. It's outrageous.
That is absolutely crazy. I can't even wrap my head around it. When you heard the first story about this counter sniper shoot, I thought it was the guys on the high roof. Then I heard it was the guys farther away. And now I'm hearing the first shot that was gotten off was by a local, and he wasn't even perched. He was on the ground.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, all I can say is that is not what the director told Congress, and you just played the clip. I was sitting right there in the Senate when he testified that it was a Secret Service counter sniper who neutralized the threat, that is, took out crooks. He said nothing about another sniper, a local, nothing at all. Jesse, this is a pattern now. Why aren't these guys out there, Secret Service and FBI, doing regular briefings, answering questions, giving us answers? They're not doing any of that. They're hoarding the information. They're keeping it from the public. And this has gone on too long. I mean, people have got to get fired for this.
No, they do. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much again, Senator Hawley, and hopefully these whistleblowers continue to talk to your office.
Yeah. That explains it all, ladies and gentlemen. We were trying to figure out what AJ was talking about without listening to what AJ had to talk about. Because if you listen to what, for me personally, I'm just going to say this. If I listen to what this other guy has to say before going and vetting it myself, then my opinion is going to be influenced by what he says. So I'm trying to figure it out, and here's what I see. I see they were trying to sweep this under the rug completely. Melania comes out and addresses it and says, hey, you guys need to figure out what the hell happened to my husband. Quite naturally, they mock her, and they use their tool to mock her to see if mocking is going to work, and that just so happens to be balls on the hands, Don Lemon. He mocks. There's blowback on him for mocking. Then the whistleblowers come out. When did this whistleblower letter come out? Let's see. So September 3rd. So the whistleblower letter has already worked its way out, and I guess somebody said, well, man, we're going to just bring this to the attention of the public. And so now the deep state, who all probably conspired together to assassinate Donald Trump, are sitting there saying, well, somebody head got to roll. Yeah, somebody head's got to roll, and it ain't going to be my head. Senator Blumenthal sitting there with his half American flag, half Ukrainian flag, saying, well, my head ain't rolling, because I ain't, that's not my department. I'm not in Homeland Security. So Mayorkas, your head gotta roll. Now, that's one option. The other option is that the minute Donald Trump wins this election, some stuff gonna start popping off with all these people. And so now they want to bring it into the public sphere, into the attention of the public, that these wicked people done did what they did. But either way it go, it's going down. I'm yelling timber. You better move. You better dance. It's going down. That's all I can tell you, baby.